It was the weirdest moment. I still get wigged out by it. I don't know what was happening. I still don't to this day.
I just want to throw out some moments and get what comes to mind on your end or what you recall from the interaction. The first one being the lunch with Warren Beatty.
Yeah, the lunch with Warren Beatty was great because because there was no reason for it. About 2 hours into the lunch, I said, "So, what's the deal? Like, what are we doing?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, why'd you ask me to lunch?" He goes, "Because I wanted to talk to you." I go, "About what?" He goes, "About whatever." What? You know, that a personal thing, you know? And he said, "It was just me wanted to talk to you. It's just I was interested in talking to you." And then there was something during that lunch where he said, "Have you ever directed before?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You're a director. You should be directing." I was like, huh. And that was one of the reasons why I started directing.
Your mom and Clint Eastwood were friends. Mm-hmm. How about the best time you've ever had with Clint?
I think when there were a couple of times, it didn't happen often, but Kyle and Allison, I knew when my mom would, you know, maybe we'd travel with them or something. And I remember ice skating. And then one time I saw him years ago. I saw him at a function, and I said, "Hey, Clint," and he said, "Hey, James," or "Hey, Jim," and he thought I thought he was, you know what I mean? He had like a flashback moment, and I was like, wow, that was crazy. That was weird. Yeah.
You were runner-up to Johnny Depp in the 21 Jump Street series back in the day. How about the most memorable time you ever had hanging out with Johnny?
Probably because I did an episode of that later. Mm-hmm. I ended up doing like the third episode, and he was going, because we were in his apartment. He had just finished Platoon, and we were in his apartment after we had read for that. He was driving his girlfriend's white convertible VW Rabbit, and we went to his apartment, and we waited for that phone call. And he was showing me the stuff that he had brought back from wherever Platoon was filmed, talking about Oliver Stone and this amazing experience that he had had over there working on this film. And then he got the call, because that producer really fought for him. The network wanted me, the producer wanted him. And then he stuffed a bunch of in his bag, and then he took off, and that was it. And he made it his own, obviously. He hated it. And he made it his own, if you look at the trajectory of that thing. But I did like the third episode, and yeah, we would go out a lot at night. We were two fairly big drinkers at that time, and you know, it was like what we were portraying on that series couldn't have been more opposite of who we were.
Speaking of Oliver Stone, the 2010 dinner you had with Oliver Stone and Donald Trump. Yeah,
at the 21 Club. That's where I met Donald Trump. That's where I became friends with Donald Trump. No longer, but yeah, it was me, Shia, Donald, Melania, and Oliver. That's quite a gathering.
Outside of him lending you $20, what stands out from the night?
You know, there's a weird thing that happened, man. So we're in his apartment, and he's telling us where he was standing when he watched the towers go down. And it was a very kind of emotional, and he was emotional about it. He was like, we didn't know what was happening and this and that, and we looked that way, and this is what we saw. And I've always been super into architecture, just absolutely obsessed. So he's showing me around his apartment, and then then we stopped and started talking, and it was me, Shia, the two of them, and Oliver. And I said, "Can I see upstairs?" I said, "What's upstairs?" He said, "Our bedroom." And I said, "Can I see upstairs?" He said, "Yeah." And then nobody moved. And I said, "Cool, so should we go up?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he still didn't move. And I'm thinking, what the is happening? Like, it's literally, we're in the Twilight Zone now. And then there was silence. And I looked at Oliver. I'm like this. I looked at Shia. He didn't know what was going on. I said, "So should we go up?" I said it a third time. "So should we go upstairs?" He goes, "Sure." And he didn't move. And then there was silence. And I said, "Well, thanks for having us here. I really appreciate it." He goes, "Yeah, no problem." And he shook his hand and all that. It was the weirdest moment. I still get wigged out by it. I don't know what was happening. I still don't to this day. It's like he couldn't not say no, but he wasn't going to get out of the way of the thing. It meant no, but he said yes.